Peace be upon you. Beaver moon. We will feel the energy up until the 19th. It already started around 12 in Taurus. So it's about income, earnings, material possession, wealth, finances, and the physical world. Since it's ruled by Venus, there's also a focus on system of beliefs, values, and basically reassessing, reevaluating our priorities, and rather how we value, what we value, where we place our worth, basically. Specifically on the things that we already have, or those we may have this inner knowing of having or wanting because of merit, earning rightfully, right? So if you know what some benefit should come to you, it's very probable that this is the time that it does. A payback, a raise, because Taurus also rules money, wealth, etc. And you can also attract romance, love, as well, for the purpose of marriage, long-term commitment to relationships, but bringing them to a higher level and so on. Big changes on the horizon for everyone. But let's look into every sign. Aries, you seem to have some financial issues. So if you had a source of income, it seems to have completely ended for you. It comes to full closure. Yet, at the same time, it comes from a new source. But just make sure you pay your King of Cups universe. Pay your loans, your taxes, anything you owe, pay it. Taurus, definitely big changes for you. Even though you're kind of clashing with the Scorpionic energy here. There's some conflict, obviously. Major endings and, obviously closure, breakdown, end of the line, parting of ways, but also breakthroughs. It's probably because of the breakthroughs that you're gonna have, you're not gonna have a hard time just putting things to rest, speaking your mind. It's time for you to release the past, especially when it comes to relationships. Let's look at your tarot card. Another, that was a court card. This is the major arcana, the star in reverse. A loss of faith or hope in something. It's time to let it go. You feel as if you were going in the wrong direction. You're no longer going that way. Again, a breakthrough, and therefore leading to collapse and inevitable change. Gemini. Meditation, prayer, pondering is required for you to go within. The past will come down for you to readdress it, to face what you fear most. In other words, karma. If you need to, and you have no one to talk to, seek for a professional to talk to. We cut it for you, apparently. Yes, something needs to be done properly. And the Ten of Wands, and reach a, final conclusion. Integrate. The end of the road for you. Change is upon you, except you're at that final stage where you need to assess everything. Yeah. In your case, it has nothing to do with what you want, but rather what you need to do. So you will feel a bit forced in this new direction because it can no longer continue. People will not want to work with you anymore, will not believe you, will obviously be antagonistic to you, and so on. So yeah, everything seems to crumble around you, and you need to ponder, go within, navigate this time. And yeah, there's something beginning on the horizon for you. Again, you don't want it. For example, Taurus does. You don't see any benefit in it. It's not something you would have chosen willingly, but it's happening. Cancer, a shift when it comes to your nature in social interactions, relationships, your social circle. Radical shift in your social circle, so friends may be living your life for good, and it may affect you. Yes, friends leave. They leave you. They have to leave you. Don't take it personally, and release and continue on your journey. Leo, you need to be in the center of attention. Career is finally on the wheels, moving in the right direction for you. You will receive just reward, recognition, praises. Some important people will finally look at you and see what you were doing all along. See, that your ambitions weren't merely out of, egoism or some pursuit for material prosperity, or no, there was something, there was a higher goal. So awards, promotions, and so on. Job offers, publicity, promotions, literally out of nowhere. And this will basically take your professional life to a new level, possibly even with a spin on it. Thank you. Oh yes, many new offers, sorry, beautiful. You're no longer walking alone in this journey. Virgo, time for you to set yourself free. We've been seeing this energy throughout all of these lunar cycle readings and so on. The wheel readings. You may consider doing an important step, taking an important step. Once you do make that change, that would imply you either, migrating to another country, literally. Yeah. And we saw that you're expanding to other cultures too. We saw it in the wheel reading for you. And if you're still studying or learning something, or you were expanding when it comes to your business, profession, and so on, you're hitting that, the milestone of it. So something's coming full circle in the most, with the most positive of outcomes. That's expanding you, bringing new opportunities. And yeah, it's time for you to continue on this journey. You know that you're quite capable. Now you have also the passion and the creativity. You're ready to explore. The courage, the energy to continue exploring, establish yourself, whether work-wise, as a counterpart in your field of work. Very powerful energy for you. So traveling, again, learning new things, creativity, trying out new approaches, being fierce and fearless and passionate again. Libra, you need to take a closer look at your relationships, or rather lack thereof, because they seem to be a bit one-sided. You can no longer escape this anymore. Let's say you're in a perfectly functioning relationship, or you think you have one, whether it's with family members or someone specific, a friend. But we're here referring rather to intimacy, because Taurus is also about, back to antagonistic to Scorpio. So some unresolved sexual, intimate issues that you've never really addressed, nor did you actually take them too seriously. that may speak actually of the reasons behind your inability to manifest, your frustration, how anger translates, your lack of creativity and ability to manifest, your lack of energy, and so on. So there's trauma associated with, or rather translated into some form of dysfunctional sexuality, either prudeness or being overly closed off. So having it to be way too dysfunctional may affect you both physically, mentally, and so on. It depends on, you know, your libido and your actual needs. For each, it's going to be different. But in reality, what it translates to, especially for the feminines, is to whether they were able to procreate and so on. So yeah. You know, there was a study about middle-aged women not freezing their eggs, and when finally deciding to, well, it's kind of too late. You never know, right? When you're no longer able to have children. For those who did have children, there seems to be a lack of actual genuine connection or a sense of purpose from having had children, which should be the highest purpose a feminine could ever have if she was an actual feminine. But many feminines, sadly, always try to control how the masculine fathers, for example, or who's going to be the father and so on. So yeah, again, highly problematic. You don't have the right approach to what sexual fire energy actually is, what you can do with it, how you can alchemize and use it in more creative ways, how it's literally raw energy. But if it's not yielding any fruits, whether you don't achieve results in the practical or artistically or sports or whatever, if this fire is not consumed and alchemized and put to use, turns against you. So hence nervousness, hormonal imbalances, stress, depression, etc., 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 etc. But generally speaking, even those who had children, for example, again, this attempt of trying to control way too many things stems from something that goes way, 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 way back. And it has to do with how they perceive themselves physically as a feminine in a feminine vessel. They're kind of conflicted about it. They may have tried various things. It doesn't work, whether to have to base it on appearance or to feel good about themselves as they are physically. They're overly demanding and criticizing of themselves first. And you don't like yourself, in other words. And yeah, that translates physically as being always in a state of, well, victimhood and lack. And so, yeah, relationship-wise, you will always see the partner as unable to love you. Even if they would, you would still feel unworthy of their attention, or even worse, you would feel as an object if they were attracted to you physically and so on. Intimacy in a committed relationship is absolutely natural and normal. Sadly, though, you have been extremely dysfunctional in that sense. The trial of fire serves exactly that purpose, to let some fire out and balance certain things, but also reveal how, in the meantime, has worked against you. Even though you repressed it, you may have even went to the other extreme, whereas you became completely asexual, which is not true, because all humans are, even those of us who are literally not in a relationship, so celibatarian by all accounts, we still work with the sexual fires. What do you think? Except we don't have intercourse, that's all. But we work with the fire, so we recognize it. As for you, you're kind of confused what that energy is, generally speaking. So you got very attracted to a counterpart, and it turned pretty toxic pretty fast. It was supposed to reveal to you exactly that you don't control your inner fire. Even if you repressed it, it's still coming back up. For you, there's a push for those of you who did still manage to be in a higher level of commitment. It's the same energy we had in the last reading for you, Libra. Separation, divorce, taking new direction. You need to work on your own healing, on your serenity, your beliefs, your faith. So, yeah, you may attempt to feel as if, well, if there's no intimacy, a person doesn't care about you. Physical one doesn't really matter as much as you think you do. There's this misconception about masculine just simply being merely physical. No, it's energy. So it's your energy that actually always creates problem, long before it is anything you ever say, do, or lack thereof, right? You may have accused people just, if they're attracted to you, it's a problem. If they're not attracted to you, it's a problem. Make up your mind. It's more serious than you think for you as well to be attracted to someone, as it should be. You should be attracted to your counterpart. But the reasonings or the reasons on why you would be attracted to a counterpart change depending on your nature and spiritual degree. Someone who is married with their counterpart ultimately would find that attraction naturally. Only if something terrible happens, such as treason or, Hashem forbid, illness, or, then, that's out of the picture. But generally, even when they're not physically together, they are always constantly in this dance of exchange of this passion for one another. So yeah, that's not a lot to say about that. Except, maybe take I know it's something you may dread, but take a look on why you reacted the way you did when someone that you were extremely attracted to didn't want to interact with you. Again, it wasn't because they weren't attracted to you physically. It was about the energy. You were highly problematic, dysfunctional, energy-wise. So yeah, fool around and find out, I guess, right? You kept searching for the perfect partner. You may not have worked on yourself as the kind of partner that you would be. But I do believe you did try to work on yourself. But again, you never associated it with you being the blessing for another. It was just you being you. Knowledge for the sake of knowledge, wealth for the sake of wealth. It's actually quite powerful, very rare. Yet, on a personal level, it will affect you, relationship-wise. You will ever be so confused. You either try to get stuck on a type, you try to become a type, one specific, then you are undecisive, you outgrow it, or you're forced to outgrow it. Then you fall into another identity crisis. By the time you wake up, you're 45, with no ability, nothing to offer or bring to the table to the people that you would be attracted to, nor do you have a family, or did you pursue your other needs in the meantime, your genuine needs in the meantime. So I guess you made your choices, right? As for those who do have children, sadly, they went through the same stages, and it's even more difficult to navigate. It's very serious when you're so dysfunctional to actually try and raise children, because no one questions the love of a mother. How we love, that's a different matter altogether, how that translates, energy, action-wise, our behavior, right? So the best gift you could ever do unto the world is to become the gift that you were intended to be, and be the best that you could be, and function to the best of your capacity, maximum of your skills and abilities. And how can you do that if you are not applying them? You either get stuck on something, or you then get stuck in the realm of potential, having a complete inability to choose. The good thing is, if you were stripped of any and all identities, All that remains is the raw essence of who you are. You can work with that now. Many people are still stuck in personas, and that's not necessarily a negative thing, because we all embrace a role. Except we don't become that persona. Scorpio, if you already met someone, you're moving to the next stage. And if you need professionals to assist you either with your finances, your business endeavors, work endeavors, and so on, someone who would hear you out in regards to some new projects and so on, you will find them. You will find people that you can actually align with and work with. Genuine, high quality people. Very prepared and well disposed towards you. Again, yes, Scorpio. High quality people for you to work with. Beautiful energy. Sag is going to be a bit chaotic for you. Major turning point that obviously, much like for Taurus, it will imply also endings. A Gemini as well. Either you live it, leave the job, or leave whatever current task you have at hand or project, and you will be immediately on the hunt for something else, which is for the better. But the advice is to not act out of impulse, especially if you've invested so much into something, because it may just finally pay up for you. This last final milestone. Make a last effort. When the instinct for you to say, I'm done, because you're exhausted, right? You're dissatisfied and you feel the call. It's typical of you, right? Let's go to move to something else. When you're ready, you're done, you're done. Try and, stop yourself and say, maybe, I've invested so much. Let me pace myself down. Let me sleep on this. Let me put a last effort just to be sure, right? And it will actually pay up for you. Capricorn, Sag. I'm sorry, I have very high fever, so bear with me, I'm struggling. So for you, Sag, the Eight of Swords in reverse, again, you feel either unappreciated, disrespected, you don't like what someone is saying, you're tired of hearing other people's, unwarranted or, in your eyes, immature, unprofessional kind of opinions, all right? You're done with it. Generally speaking, I feel you're done about having to deal with people that are all just talk. And when it comes down to it, it seems to all be back on your shoulders. All burdens, all responsibilities, and you're kind of done with that. Absolutely. So don't heed anyone's opinion or advice anymore temporarily. Do what you deem to be right, but just don't abandon the project because of other people's opinion. I know it hurts, especially if you worked with someone for so long, but yeah. You don't seem to have any emotional support, nor do you feel actual genuine connection with the people you work with. And that's what's bothering you. The lack of affection or devotion or actual care and feeling and empathy for the bigger scheme of what it is that you're doing. The lack of love, generally speaking. Capricorn. Lots of passion for you. You've been working on your finances. Your energy now, speaking of the sexual fires, is redirected straight to actual passion. So it's finally time for you to actually take your need for romance, love, fertility, creativity, healing there where necessary, taking it a bit more, easy, being easier on yourself and so on. So yeah, much needed break and focus rather on relationships, close relationships. Again, love, romance, marriage, legacy, family, yes, even your home and your environment, to make it truly homely. And what's the point of it if you're never home, right? So giving more attention to this very important stage of your life that is all about family. If single, you will probably meet a soulmate, a very powerful connection. So put yourself out there, date, take it easy, take a moment. If you've built a business, don't worry, it's just gonna go on its own. Let's look at a card for you. So love, taking relationships to a higher level, finding a counterpart, alignment, and so on. Yeah, you haven't been really finding anyone because you weren't really making any offers, nor your heart wasn't open. Emotionally, romance-wise, you weren't really doing it. So you obviously were focusing on something else. This would be something very new for you. It's not really pleasant, but it's got to be done with no preconditioning, no fear, no restrictions. Just be you. Be your amazing self. You'll find your person. Be authentic. Again, powerful new beginnings. Pisces. You need to, and we saw that from as well from the wheel, you need to open up a bit more. Shift your perspective a bit, or rather try and connect with other people's perspective as well. Communication, learning, information, legalities, new ideas, making lists, watching closer for your finances, putting ideas on paper. It's very tangible, it's very practical. So new projects, genuine effort, both mentally, communication-wise as well, getting yourself out there. So I see you either putting out resumes or seeking for something new, getting informed in regards to any new shift or change that you're going to do, whether it's in location, house, needing to travel somewhere. You're getting really down to the last detail. So use speech, writing, communication. I would actually advise you to find a way to also put yourself out there online and communicate your ideas with the world, your experiences, your view, your vision. Share the blessing that you are with the world. This time you open it up and release it. It's also going to help you, not very much. You will have a positive response if you intend of, communicating in the virtual space. So, educational matters, politics, economics, anything you focus on, if you get an idea, go for it. This time you contribute, participate. You're very important, actually crucial. The Nine of Swords in reverse, yes. Getting out of your mind space here, trauma, shadow work. You were stuck in your mind, well, not anymore. All of this was working against you, right? The ideas, the visions, the thoughts, your internal processes and so on. But if you open up, and I think you have what it takes to open up. King of Pentacles, very powerful. You're starting something that's gonna leave a mark, very important. You're bringing, again, very tangible, practical solutions. The rest of the processing, you've already done it yourself. You come from a place of care, intuition, experience, higher calling, purpose, genuine humanitarian, and so on. So what you say or do is always intended for the highest good. You're selfless in the sense. So who's going to be better at teaching, imparting, right, than you, than someone like you? That's pretty much it. Oh, we have, sorry, I forgot. Aquarius. Aquarius, we skipped you. For you, it's a move, or just it's about your living space. If you're in anything to do with real estate, or generally speaking, you're an owner, you own, or even if you rent at this point, some issues may come up. Hey, you cannot make an omelet if you don't break some eggs, right? But you're advised not to push too hard if something comes up. Don't disregard other things that are more important, such as family. Be very mindful about friends or family that may need your attention, because you may be easily distracted since you focus on just safety, security, both financial, living space, and so on. So I could see why you would have been extremely focused, and you seem to continue to be extremely focused until something comes up again. You will have to work through it, but not out of impulse, not immediately, and not at the expense of someone else's in your family suffering, for example. So maybe reset your priorities right now. See if you can. I know it's hard, but you can do both, in the sense of do the most important thing first, and then don't worry. There are forces that move to assist you in any other regards that has to do, again, with either finances, real estate, foundations, your living environment, and so on. I think I said that 3 times already. I'm sorry. Now let's look at a card for you. Hey, I did it. I showed up. Now shut up about it. What are you complaining about? Oh, okay. Ah, yes, King of Pentacles. There's more to a King of Pentacles than being just a mere provider, throwing the finances in, and which I'm sure your family is grateful for, but 6 of Swords, you gotta mentally leave something, a way of doing things and so on behind. And yeah, focus on sadness. Either there's mourning, someone is in mourning, or deep depression. There's a serious loss here, I'm sorry. You gotta focus on. 3 cards already. Another 5 is the 5 of Wands, while you're struggling and in a conflict. And the 10 of Cups in reverse, you disregard your chance to be there by your family's side. 7 of Swords in reverse. Again, you had either some legal problems to do with what you own, if you are in debt, if you were leasing, etc. What you owed, what you would owe, regardless. Legalities, etc. Details. And 3 of Cups. You are asked to spend time with family. 7, it's a number of change. Of pondering, rather, because we have 2 5s. Changes out of conflict, of better assessing, pondering, observing, right? Taking a moment, or like a halt, right? Wait. And check yourself, right? What am I even investing my time and my energy in? Is it worth it? Or what is truly important to me? Or will I forgive myself if I, miss this opportunity to support someone, whether emotionally or just hear them out and, don't ignore someone's suffering, is what this is telling you. It's more important. So yes, I understand that you're severely frustrated by your current situation. There may be a force majeure, sort of a need to either even change your current location forcefully. So obviously, due to some unfortunate circumstances, some injustice of some sort. But what I strongly sense also is the reason why you're pushing so hard is because you do care. And you may feel that you actually did something wrong, in the sense of you may not have read the small print, you didn't listen, trust your gut, or do the due diligence, research on something, or you allowed someone to, take you for a ride, as they say, fool you, not once, not twice, and so on. So you already kind of feel like you've disappointed yourself in the sense of being able to provide better circumstances for your family to not have to be in this situation while also going through trauma and suffering and loss. So it doesn't matter now, does it? Many blessings. May all be healed, sealed, guided and protected on your path. Peace be upon you all. Eternally grateful for all of you. And yeah, things that we don't address, they will come back around. But remember, time is the ultimate judge. Don't think you can fool around and transgress the laws and get away with it. The most important law is to never betray yourself. Hence, the only reason I could ever ask of anyone, including myself, is to stay true to whatever self I currently am. Stay as present as possible. So this doesn't happen anymore, that you wake up at 35 and realize, but I wanted a child. Well, yeah. You should have actually followed that want, which turned out to be a genuine need, rather than fleeting passions, desires, distractions, and being at the mercy of just bullshit. So, know thy values, know thy worth, know thy needs, acknowledge them the moment they arise. Observe them, question them, yes, but don't try and bury them or mask them or turn them into something there. It's very important for all of us that we know our own needs, because most of the times God is trying to fulfill those needs, but He can't. Free will. If we insist on fulfilling our plate with something else, there's no space for Him to put what we truly need to eat. It's interesting because the concept of mana, the spiritual food, keeps popping up. And then I look at Info Kabbalah and Kabu. And they're also speaking on the spiritual nourishment and so on. Very powerful. How these things happen, right? How certain people connect or I received certain messages at different times. Of course, I'll never be as capable as them at conveying and giving out specific information. But yeah, hey, I do my best. I guess I cater to, I'm supposed to serve a different kind of a part of the collective. It's how it's supposed to be. But yeah, anyway, I'm not sure if they put it up yet. I believe it's scheduled, but I will place a link if ever anyone opens the description. You will find it there when I get it. I'm not online much. I'm severely ill again. And yeah, we're facing also, as usual, my owners refuse to answer the phone or even communicate with me at this point, because yeah, they know it's done. They know I don't have what it takes to make it. Yeah, so they're very, it's so humiliating, for someone So I get you, I know. Oh, you have no idea how much humiliation. I learned also to receive and therefore to discern in between the spirit of humiliation and one of that's supposed to instill humbleness in us. And I'm grateful for it. I'm so grateful. Of course, that doesn't mean I like what's going on, but really there are so many things that are out of our hands. So yes, His will be done, and all I can say, well, this is it. I may even appear as shameless, right? Because what do you mean this is it? What do you want me to do? I'm doing everything I can. Nothing works. I'm sure there's a reason for that. Where God makes a desert, He makes a river and a lake and an ocean and a sea on another. To each our own. The desert strengthens our relationship and with Him. The desert also helps us to see through deception, illusion. The desert shows us what we truly need. Who we are. It purges, it reveals it, of course, if we make it out of it. What takes us out of the desert? Only Him. Once you realize there's nothing but Him. And one day you just walk and see a blade of grass growing right there in the midst of just lifeless sand. And the first thought that comes to mind is, whose sacrifice was that? That blade of grass? Who died for that blade of grass to come to be? So sacrifice is either conscious, willing, or mindless, which is the most terrible. Because either way, you gotta pay. So you're better off to work within the laws and achieve something based on what you were meant to achieve, not what you want to achieve. There's a difference. Many blessings. Shalom.